What's going on, everybody? So I've decided to start a rather large project. I've been getting more and more into aquariums. I have a 75-gallon freshwater aquarium. This is one of my newer aquariums. It's a 30-gallon freshwater, and then on the counter is a 14-gallon saltwater. It's the Fluval Evo C model. I just want to do something a little bit bigger, so I went to Petco and got the $1 a gallon sale, and I bought two 10-gallon tanks and a 20-gallon long. I had planned on getting more 20-gallon longs, but I literally got the last one. So I'm going to keep an eye out at the stores. The sale's going on until the end of the month. I'm going to try to get some more 10-gallon tanks and also more 20-gallon longs. But my plan is, come check this out. Pardon the mess. I just came up with this idea, so I got to work on cleaning everything up. But this is my laundry room. It's about 12 feet wide and 25 feet long. It is part of the house. It is insulated, although it is on an exterior wall, and my garage is through that door. So this room doesn't hold heat as well as the house. It does have two vents, but it just doesn't hold the heat as well. So my plan is to create a fish room. I'm drawing ideas in my head, and I'm writing down on Notepad of what I would like to do, and what I'm contemplating on doing and figuring out is I believe I'm just going to put a space heater in here. I'm researching those right now to see which one has good reliability, good heat output, and specifically can store and maintain a certain temperature, because I want to heat my room versus heating each individual tanks. I think I can have consistent temperature. If I heat the room to 74 degrees, all the tanks in the room will be 74 degrees. Unlike when you have, for reliability, when you have individual heaters break. My 75 gallon has two 300 watt heaters in it. They both don't run full time. It's a lot of wattage for that tank, but they cycle on and off, and I have one at each end to keep the tank heating very like a gradient, like it's warm throughout the whole tank. I don't have a hot spot or a cold spot. But one of them did break last week, and luckily I caught it, ordered a new one, and it's up and running again. But I don't want to run into having, let's say if I have 20 fish tanks in here, I don't want one of them breaking while I'm at work or I'm not home, and possibly losing whatever I have in that tank. I am planning on doing shrimp. I've been following Rob from Flip Aquatics, which is also here in Ohio, and he's just really inspired me to breed some shrimp. I think they're cool. A little bit of a challenge, keeping your water parameters correct for them. And it's a challenge I want to try. I want to kind of dive right in and do it, but I'm doing my research and seeing everything that I need to do to try to be successful at it. I'm not trying to do it for money, at least not yet. I want to get my feet wet and see if I can get them breeding, and then, I know some friends that want them, so, I'll just give them to my friends, just help them out. But I know from doing water changes on my 3 current tanks, I definitely want an auto water change system set up. So I'm diving right into that. I went to Home Depot and bought some PVC piping. I bought the PVC cutter. I have a table saw that I could use to cut it, like a chop saw. But from watching the reviews of people doing their water change systems, I bought the PVC cutter, the ratcheting one, because it looks like it's just amazing. It saves a ton of time. There's no mess. You just cut and go. So I bought one of those. I got the bucket right here on the floor, full of parts. And I bought, a bunch of 90s, a bunch of T's, end caps, ball valves so I can shut off parts of the system. And what I'm planning on doing, I have, washer and dryer. This is a laundry room. It's just a really big laundry room. It has a drain, hot water and cold water right here because of the washer and dryer. So I'm just going to use that as my water source. And then the drain to drain the automatic water change system. I am going to do a drip line. So I'm going to get the little drip valves that you can set for 1 gallon an hour, 10 gallons an hour. One of those system setups. I do have the PVC piping for that. And for my drain, so my plan, let me spin you around, is this wall, and it's 25 foot long. I'm going to move everything out of this room, clean it all up, because right now it's kind of like a storage room. I don't have a basement at my house. It's a slab house. So this is basically my basement right now. So I'm going to do some adjusting on all the stuff that's in here. But what's nice is I have my circuit breaker boxes in here. There's a hole in the wall because I added 220 to my garage. There's a sub panel. It's on the other side of the wall behind this camera. So I have plenty of electricity, so I can run whatever I want to do. I can run brand new wiring for a space heater, so that way I don't have to worry about the old wiring in the house, stuff like that. But my plan for the drain is basically do your standard, what people do on their auto systems. I'm going to run a pipe parallel behind the tanks at a downward angle, probably 2-inch over 8-foot drop to keep my slope. And then I don't have the ability to run the pipe across the floor because the drain for the washer, let me flip you around, isn't on the floor. It's about 8 inches off the ground, maybe 10 inches. So I need to come in through the top. So I'm going to have to put a larger opening on the top so I can still feed the washer into there, and then also the aquariums. So what I want to do is run piping on the ceiling from that wall down. I'm just going to use a hole saw, come straight down through the cabinet, so that way it lines it up with my drain in the wall. How I'm going to get that fluid, because it's a gravity fed pipe and it's got to go down to the ground, is I'm going to basically do a sump. I'm going to have that drain into a bucket, and then that bucket I'm going to have a pump that has enough lift head to be able to pump the water up, over, and back down. So it's all going to drain, all the tanks will drain into one bucket. And whether it's a 5-gallon bucket, 10-gallon bucket, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. And there's basically going to be a sump pump in it. It's going to have a float, so when the water enters the bucket, it kicks the pump on, and then when it drains it, it kicks it off, so that way I don't have to worry about burning up a pump. That way, if I have my auto feeder system mess up for whatever reason and it's running longer than normal or more water than normal, it's a sump pump. It's just going to run as long as there's water in that bucket. I think as a fail-safe, I'm going to run a fountainhead pump. They have ones that are good for 16 foot of lift and higher. And I'm just going to rig up a float switch for that and run that as a secondary pump. Just in case if my sump pump breaks or something of that nature, I have a secondary system, so that way I don't flood out my house. I'd rather have the backup for emergency use. And then for fresh water, I am on city, so I have to condition my water. So I believe what I'm going to do is do a holding tank. So I have water hooked up here, so I can get water in here super easy. I'm just going, I can put a garden hose attachment on it, whatever I need to do to get water in here. I can, get hot water, cold water. I'll probably start with cold water and let the room warm it up, so that way I'm not emptying out my hot water tank, and that has to use gas to heat up, and then that's extra cost. So I think what I'm going to do is do a holding tank. Through my work, we get 55-gallon plastic drums all the time, so I might just do a 55-gallon drum. Fill up the drum, that way it can get up to room temperature. I can treat the water, test the water, get it to where I need it. So far my water's been really good. I typically just have to dechlorinize it and I'm good to go. And then I'm going to put a pump in that. It won't be a sump pump because I don't want it to kick on because of water being in it. It's just going to be a regular pump. that I can flip a switch. I plan on putting a timer system on it so I can do 10% water changes a day, every other day, or maybe a 30% water change every 2 or 3 days. However I set it up, it'll be on a timer, and I can do that. And I'll probably do a reverse float switch, so if the water happens to empty out, it'll turn the pump off, so that way I don't burn up the pump. So that's my plans. I want to video my progress on this project. The racks, I have a ton of 2x4s here. My father's work a couple years ago were throwing out brand new 2x4s. They got skid loads of them for whatever project, and then whatever they didn't use that week, they threw away. And so I went and picked them up. Well, he picked them up for me and brought them to me. So I have a ton of 2x4s, and I always keep any kind of spare wood. So I have different lengths cut. I have 3-foot sections, 4-foot sections, all the way up to the 8 feet. So I'm going to use plywood as my rack system. Now I rather actually use plywood than buy metal racks, because plywood, or not plywood, but wood is so easy to work with. I can cut it to the exact length I want. It's quick. And I can screw things to it, so when I put my plumbing for my drain, I bought brackets for the PVC pipe, so I can just screw it right to the wood, and then that way it's secured. I also have plumber's tape here, which is the metal strap bands that I can use to hang anything that I need to. I already have PVC cement, the primer and the glue. I already have all that stuff. I do a lot of stuff around my house on my own. I don't ever hire people in to do work for me. If I can't figure it out, I use YouTube, and I get the job done. So I'm planning on doing all this by myself with your guys' comments, input, and the local fish club. I joined their group on Facebook and have been asking them some questions if they've used any specific space heaters that they recommend. Are they using infrared? Are they using forced air? And I'm getting feedback from them too. So 2019 should be pretty packed with projects for me. I'd like to get this room started. I'll probably start on it tomorrow and record my progress and go from there. But I look forward to doing this and showing you guys what I can come up with. If I can be creative, I will, but most of my ideas are already out there, and there's other people that have done all this. I really suggest, if you're not subscribed, to subscribe, and that way you can click the notifications icon, and that way if I post any new content, you can watch it. Also check out King of DIY, that's Joey's channel. He's given me a lot of inspiration, along with Rob at Flip Aquatics, to do this. Joey's got so many projects on there that's where I'm getting my ideas from. And another idea I have is I want to do a plywood aquarium. Like he's got videos on his channel on how to do that, but I want to do a coffee table, and I want to do it fully enclosed, so it's like a pond with a glass top, so you look down through the glass to see the fish inside. So that's another project, but I want to do my room first, and get that going and keep me busy. Today was our first day of real snow, so I'm going to be inside more now, and I need something to keep me busy, so this will be it. And thank you for any kind of support you guys can give, comments, hit that like button, please subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time. See ya.